Hi you guys, welcome to a brand new Vlogmas video. I've got a really fun one for you today, just kind of short and sweet, but I wanted to share with you more details of my little watercolour travel set that I made for myself, and the things I either use every day or I will carry around with me if I want to, say, take my travel kit to work and paint whilst I'm in the gallery. So let me show you everything that I use. Okay, so this is my tiny little watercolour set that I made for myself. So as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I've got 15 colours in this tiny little tin, which is amazing to me. And I've been just really surprised at, like, especially what colours I'm drawn to. You can see how messy like my yellow is that I use for mixing. The brown and the yellow ochre are two that I never really had in a set before, and they, I think, are the ones I use the most. I've also got a Payne's grey, but before I run through everything, I want to show you what I did. So I've got this little box of goodies here. So, you know, over the last couple of years, I just keep buying more and more art supplies because, let's face it, we're all addicted. And I also have these. So this is my Schminker set. So I still use, or still have this all intact. I put this together fairly recently, but I was really missing the dark. And this is now like a really nice kind of buddy set to this one. So there are some kind of duplicates. I've got a nice amount of reds in here. This lovely like May green as well. So these are all Schminker colours. So here we've got the Prussian green, indigo, cobalt turquoise. We've got the cerulean blue hue, permanent carmine, purple magenta, the May green, the ruby red, the cadmium yellow deep, the quinacridone gold hue, Naples yellow reddish, which I really love this one. I think it's beautiful. And the brilliant opera rose, because who doesn't love a bright pink? So that's my lovely little set, which I will dip into as well. But just in the last few weeks, all I've been using is this. So there are some crossovers here. We have also got this, which is a Winsor & Newton Coatman set. Now, my brother got me this for Christmas a few years back. I mean, how lovely is that? Look at all that mixing space that you get. But for some reason, I'd never used it. So there are tubes in here. There are also pans. So what I did was, I was thinking I just need something quick and easy to grab that I can use on the go. And it's become my everyday use. But I pulled some of the pans out of here. So the intense green, the cerulean blue hue. So don't forget, these are in the Winsor & Newton Coatman watercolours. This is the yellow ochre and the burnt umber that I mentioned about. We've also got the Payne's grey. Now there's a sap green here as well, which I am also using. And yeah, the rest I've kind of left in there. So I've still got things to dip in and out of. And the tubes as well I've used in here. So it was amazing to kind of shop my own art supplies before because instinctively I was like, oh great, Jackson's has got a sale on, what can I order, what colours do I need? And I thought, no, I've got so much stuff that I've just not used. And you know, some of these watercolours will last ages as well, because you don't need a lot in one go. So this is my absolute favourite. So this is in here. We've got the Schminker. That's why I bought a big tube of this when it was on offer, because I love this colour. But if I just get out some of my tubes here so that you'll be able to see what we have got. There is a mixture in here of brands as well. And then I will swatch everything out for you as well. So as you can see, again, I think I got these on Amazon. You can just get these empty little pans So this is a full pan and these are half pans, and as you can see I've got one full pan in there. Originally I was going to have like several, but I wanted more colours, so it was nice that I could either pull the full pans out of my Coatman set, or I made my own as well from these tubes. So in here, this one is the Schminker Ruby Red. That's the first one. I wanted to make sure I had some nice reds in here. I also then used both of these because I'd not used them before. So the Michael Harding, and I knew that I wanted to use these like in my sketchbook. Hang on, let me put a light on a sec. Okay, that's a bit better with the light. Okay, so here we've got the Ruby Reds. And then, yeah, I knew I wanted to use things in my sketchbook, so I thought I'd pull out art supplies I've not used before. And with the Opera Rose, I wasn't too worried that it's a fluorescent pink, so it's not going to be light fast. So it doesn't matter if it's in my sketchbook. It's if I'm doing a final piece that I want to sell that I need to be careful about the light fastness of things. So that was the next colour I've put in there. I then also use the Imperial Purple, so I've added in the purple as well. So that's this dark looking one. So next along we've got the Indigo, which is from the Coatman set. So that's been really, really nice. And then this last one here, again, was one of the pans from the Coatman set, which was the Cerulean Blue hue. So it's a really nice, vibrant blue. Moving down here, I mixed this myself. Now I wanted something pale for mixing, and I wanted the Chinese white. To be honest with you, I wanted a buff titanium, but I didn't have one. So I thought, right, I'm just going to attempt to mix my own. So I've mixed it with this one, the Potter's Pink, and I think I put in a tiny bit of something like this. Yeah, the burnt sienna, so it gives it a slightly sort of brownier tint. Anyway, that's kind of my neutral that I've created there for myself. I've then also got the Schminker Cadmium Yellow Deep here, and then we're back to the Coatmans here. So we've got the Yellow Ochre, the Burnt Umber, and then last here we've got the Payne's Grey as well on the end. So I wanted a dark that I could mix because that was something I was missing from this one, from my Schminker set. So I really wanted a dark that I could use. Coming down here then, I have got two of my favourites. I'm a sucker for blues. But in here we have got, so we've got the Prussian Blue, that's one of them. Love it, it's just so gorgeous. And this one, which is the Prussian Green in the Schminker. So this one's the Schminker, the Prussian Blue is the Coatman Winsor & Newton. So again, both really beautiful colours. I really wanted to use the Schminker Cobalt Turquoise, but I didn't have it. So this one I think is the Holbein here. So going with the theme of using up what I already had, this one is the Holbein W063. It is the Cobalt Green. So yeah, lovely, beautiful, turquoisey, more of a green than a turquoisey sort of teal colour. And then we've also got the Sap Green, because I really wanted some nice nature greens. So we've got the Sap Green here and the Coatmans here, which is a little bit more watery than I was expecting it to be. And then the last one here, which is the Intense Green. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Phthalo Intense Green, which is from the Coatman's set as well. So I feel like I've got a really well-rounded kind of colour palette now, almost by accident, and just by using, not the dregs of what I've got, but just by actually pulling out art supplies that I've kind of brushed over, I'd shoved to the side, I've left in a drawer, that I've just been overlooking for such a long time. And this has become literally my go-to. This is what I use every day. This is all I use now. And it's nice as well that it does look like a lot when you see all the tubes, but you could just buy all of these in single little pans as well, so you don't need to buy massive amounts. Again, I'm just using up what I had. So I made sure I had some reds, some yellows, some greens and some blues, also a dark and a light and a nice mixing brown. So that was my thought, because I knew that I wanted to paint a lot of nature things, paint from observation, and so I was really thinking about like my natural colours and what am I going to use the most. Okay, so this is basically the all the mixes and all the colours that I could get from this one little palette. This was actually really fun, and the thing I love about watercolour as well is that when you add more water, you can make a lighter version of your colour. So you don't need to add white, and if you do add white, it kind of makes it slightly more opaque. So you can see here, for example, we've got the Payne's Grey. So there are 3 swatches here of the Payne's Grey colour. So really deep and dark, very light there, and then this beautiful sort of mid-tone. And again with the burnt umber, so a nice sort of neutral, that would be good for sort of skin tones, things like that. And then the lovely deep, almost like a bark type colour. And then you can mix things as well, but we've got the yellow ochre here. So yeah, and then we've got the lovely cadmium yellow deep. This is why I love this. It is like sunshine in a jar. It's so beautiful. This was my mix, which was the sepia, the potter's pink and the Chinese white. So it's a lot of Chinese white. And they're quite similar, to be honest, the washed out version. Love this though, the cerulean blue. So nice kind of deeper blue, and then we've got a very nice sky blue. Again, we've got the indigo, and this one actually granulated really beautifully. As did the imperial purple, so a slight bit of granulation there. And that's the sort of purple that I'd love to kind of mix with the pink as well. Again, yeah, the pink here, so opera pink, and kind of the different variations of colour you get within there. We've then got the ruby red as well, so this was the intense saturated one, and this is adding water. Here's some of my favourites, look. So we've got the Prussian green, really beautiful Schminke Prussian green. Love this intense kind of deep teal. And then here, it's almost a variation of the cerulean blue, but slightly kind of, you know, dirtier, sort of deeper, a little bit of green in it. The Prussian blue, which I love. Again, look at these beautiful hues, all just by adding more water. I've then got in here, sometimes I will kind of mix them slightly as well. So I'm just trying to show what colours I can create from the palette I've got. We've then got our cobalt green and then adding in a bit more water there. So this is a really beautiful pale one. We've got the intense green, which is I think a phthalo green, but yeah, really gorgeous, great for mixing actually. And it's nice to mix with the sap green as well. So I've also got this washed out sap green. So here are some mixes. Look, we've got the intense green with the yellow deep, and look how beautiful that is. I think, to be honest, that's more of what I expected from my sap green here. So you see what I mean when I say it's quite watery and washed out. So it was really nice to be able to make this using the green and the gorgeous, gorgeous cadmium yellow deep from Schminke as well. And again, washed out, so they do look kind of similar when they're washed out, the mixes here. Yeah, so just really lovely, lovely set. I was really pleased with that. And you can see there's lots of sort of naturey tones in there, great for things like florals or leaves, or even like blues for the sea, things like that, seascapes. But yeah, especially if you're painting, so I've been painting chilies, I've been painting birds as well. These are really gorgeous tones in here for birds. And yeah, adding little blue accents and things. So far it's working really well, and I'm really, really pleased with it. And there's such a beautiful set. So it's been really nice to, yeah, just keep things really simple. I think that's the only thing I can give you as like a takeaway from today, is just keeping your colours simple. You don't need a lot, but what you do have can make some really, really beautiful, beautiful artwork. So I hope that's inspired you to kind of rummage through all of the supplies that you already own at home, and potentially even make your own little tin. I will say that this tin, again, I think I bought it on Amazon. It was really cheap. It was a set. You can get little magnets as well that you can stick to the back of your pans, but I've literally used blue tack. So I've blue tacked these all in place. I did lay them out first to make sure they all fitted in. before I added in any of the colour, and obviously the pans that I already had were already wet, dry, so they were quite easy to just push in with some blue tack stuck to the back. So it means if I want to rearrange it, I want to take some out, I can remove them easily, they're not stuck in there forever. And also then I use this tiny little lid area for mixing, and because it's watercolour you can reactivate some of these as well, so again that's really nice for mixing. Anyway, yeah, so a slightly different Vlogmas video today, not a vlog, but I thought it would be really nice to really dive deep into all the materials that I'm using this month and at the minute, and really show you all of my beautiful watercolours that I'm so happy with. I'm definitely converted. As someone that didn't really like watercolour, I'm absolutely in love with these. So yeah, I'll see you tomorrow for another video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. Lots of love. Bye.